Good evening and welcome to Jesse Watters Primetime. I'm Judge Jeanine Pirro. Tonight, a radical leftist group has released the addresses of the conservative Supreme Court justices, calling on their legion of liberal followers to march to the judges' homes. Activist group Ruth Sent Us wrote on their website, quote, "Our 6-3 extremist Supreme Court routinely issues rulings that hurt women, racial minorities, LGBTQ+, and immigrant rights. We must rise up to force accountability using a diversity of tactics." Now, we know when Democrats say peaceful protest, it doesn't exactly mean peaceful, especially when they use words like rise up and force accountability. On their website, the group also mentions paying out stipends to help in their protest. Where are they getting their money from? Who is funding these people? We know liberal advocates have a history of organizing protests against the court, like the group Demand Justice, who protested the Brett Kavanaugh confirmations. They're fighting to expand the court and are backed with George Soros money. But there's less known about smaller groups like Ruth Sent Us. They appear to be doing the dirty work of posting the judges' addresses. Now, some dark money experts say the George Soros-backed group Arabella Advisors could be behind these smaller pop-ups.
The dark money spending apparatus has been largely dominated by Arabella Advisors, which is an advisement fund that is basically the front group to George Soros. If you have a dark money entity like Arabella Advisors that's standing in the back, then they can produce these little pop-up entities that are based on the issues of today. So whether or not, if today we're dealing with the Supreme Court draft leak, then in a week we might be dealing with something else.
Releasing the home addresses of Supreme Court justices is extremely dangerous. Keep in mind, some of these justices have small children, and while they fenced off the Supreme Court, the homes of the justices are out in the open. Now that their addresses are public, any crazy leftist could walk right up and change the course of history. Now, Democrats should be discouraging this, but instead, they are fanning the flames.
This MAGA crowd is really the most extreme political organization that's existed in American history, in recent American history.
This opinion is dark, it is incredibly dangerous, and it is not just about a woman's right to choose. It is about much more than that. Once you allow this kind of extreme power to take hold, you have no idea who they will come for next.
Joe Biden is calling half the country extremists, while crooked Hillary is calling the conservative justices dangerous. That is totally irresponsible. The media is also on board, spewing similar inflammatory anti-Republican garbage.
Extreme, that still is in the category of normal. Extreme versus not so extreme. I think we're talking about something completely different.
We need to look at what's before us and how extreme these Washington politicians, these MAGA Washington freaks are.
What we've been witnessing is people who want to overthrow democracy, who want to overthrow the government.
MAGA, that's the least you could say, is that they're extreme.
The left isn't new to this. They sent mobs to the houses of Senator Josh Hawley, Lindsey Graham, and Justice Kavanaugh in the past. And back during the 2020 BLM riots, the group shut down D.C., published a map identifying police stations, government buildings, and conservative nonprofits. Now they're trying to intimidate conservative justices into not overturning Roe versus Wade. But Senator John Cornyn is not going to sit by as Supreme Court justices get threatened.
It's not just an attack against the independence of the judiciary. This risks violence against members of the Supreme Court and their families. That's why last night Senator Coons and I introduced a piece of legislation to enhance the authorities of the Supreme Court law enforcement agencies to provide protective details for the judges and their families who've already been threatened with violence.
This is where we are now. Supreme Court justices need police protection because it only takes one lunatic to do something crazy, and they're encouraging hundreds to go to the justices' homes. Look what happened in 2017. A Bernie supporter who was enraged over President Trump's 2016 landslide victory opened fire at a congressional baseball practice, severely injuring GOP whip Steve Scalise. Or in 1981, when a crazed gunman almost killed President Ronald Reagan to try to win the love of Jodie Foster. There are a lot of insane, dangerous people out there. And by publishing the justices' addresses and calling on a legion of liberal followers to march on the judges' homes to protest, these leftist groups are putting their lives in danger.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.